That's not my job, kids. I'm a professional blank talker. Some of the things I say make sense, and a lot of them don't. It's up to you to figure out what's what. That's the fun part. Give it a rest, man. This is comedy. We need some lighthearted stuff in the world.
I walk in redemption.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. Everything is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that. Joe Rogan, you gotta love the guy. Speaks his mind. He doesn't really care what anybody says it like it is, speaks from the heart. Intelligent guy. He's got a great podcast, probably the number one in the world. Just terrific. I love guys like that. You know, him, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, Jordan Peterson, all these guys that just say it like it is. They don't care about the controversy. And you know what? They speak from knowledge and experience, and what they have to say is relevant. And I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan and his new special today on Netflix. He says a lot of interesting things. You know, he is a stand-up comedian also, along with being the number one podcaster, certainly up on the top 2 or 3 in the world. We're going to get into that, and I think it's really hilarious, and it's meaningful. It really is. Before I say that, a couple of things. Everybody asks, Mike, Mob Movie Monday, what happened? Well, there aren't many movies, but there's one coming up, and it's called The Five Families, based upon a book by Selwyn Robb, a guy that I know well. He did a great job on the book. It's pretty accurate. I'm in the series. It's a 3-part series. Some of you might have seen it already. I don't know. But it's very interesting, very well done. So I'm going to be reviewing it, and we're going to get our Mob Movie Monday back. I'll do a review on each of the episodes. Maybe I'll do them all at once. We'll see how it goes. But stay tuned for that. It's on the History Channel. You can probably go in and see it again. They always do repeats on that. For those of you, Minnect, minnect.com. I've been getting a lot of action on that. People that want to text me, get a text response. Obviously, you can do a video call. I've been getting a lot of action on that. Patrick Bet-David, my good friend, created that app. Very significant, a lot of great people on there. Patrick himself is on there, so you can communicate with a bunch of us. Cameo, of course. Hello, how are you? Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, congratulations, all the good stuff that we put on Cameo. People love that, and we enjoy doing it also on this end. So wanted to tell you about that. Last announcement, then we get into Rogan. On October 5th, myself and John Maxwell. For those of you that don't know who John Maxwell, just about everybody does. He's a top guy in leadership. He's a Christian, but he talks about leadership, and just a great guy. He's written a number of best-selling books, speaks all over the world, and has a great following. He and I are going to be together on October 5th in Las Vegas. We'll put the information up, and it's going to be a 5 or 6 hour seminar that we're holding. We're going to talk about negotiation, mob style and legit style, and leadership. And it's something that you shouldn't miss. We're also going to have a VIP dinner for a select few afterwards. It's going to be a limited audience. We're not opening it up too many, so go on the site, click on, and get your tickets now. And I look forward to seeing you then. Vegas, not too bad. Joe Rogan, let's get to him. You know, Joe is kind of a controversial guy, and like I said, he doesn't care. He speaks his mind. He doesn't mean to be offensive. He just tells it like it is. Something that we shouldn't be doing in today's world, right? God forbid you tell it like it is. God forbid you disagree or you say something that might be controversial. You know, you get blackmailed, you get whatever, blackballed, I should say. Maybe blackmailed, you know, who knows? But I like Rogan. I really do. And he spoke about me on his podcast about a year ago. Did like 10 minutes on me, put some video up there, and said some nice things, you know, all cool. Maybe someday I'll be on his show, I don't know. But anyway, he's got this Netflix special again. And in that special, he mocks a lot of people and a lot of things. It's just his way. It's comedy. You know, he's a comedian, so he does it in a comedic way. But some of the things that he's saying certainly ring true. They might be offensive to some, but hey, this is what he believes. And we have a right in America to say what we believe as long as we're not hurting anybody. We might offend somebody, but as long as we're not hurting them, you know, physically or in any other way, going after them in that way, it's okay. We have freedom of speech here, something that, people on one side of the spectrum are trying to close down. If you don't disagree with them, if you don't agree with them, I should say, God forbid, you're a bad person, whatever. Joe Rogan doesn't care about that, the same way the Tate brothers don't care about that. Jordan Peterson speaks his mind, and they have a lot of good things to say. So I'm going to read from this article. It's very interesting, a little bit about what Joe did. And you can watch the series. It's on Netflix, that you can see it continuously. But Rogan is great. You're going to enjoy it. So here it is. Joe Rogan mocks trans people, the COVID vaccine, in his new Netflix special. Joe Rogan never holds back. I said that in my opening. The 56-year-old comedian and podcaster's new Netflix special entitled Burn the Boats premiered last Saturday night and is filled with jokes about the transgender community, the COVID-19 vaccine, and much more. Now, you know what? Some of the funniest comedians in the past, or in my view, have been those that mock themselves, mock their own families, mock their race, nationality. I love that. It's funny. Eddie Murphy used to do it, and he was terrific at it. We laughed. Chris Rock did it all the time. It's funny. Sebastian Maniscalco, I think his last name is Italian. He mocks his family all the time, but it's funny. It's done as a comedic, expression. It's not meant to offend anybody personally. So when you're doing that as a stand-up comedian, you shouldn't be offensive. You're open for, people to make fun of you. What's the big deal? It's done in good faith, not meant to hurt anybody, not meant to do anything like that. Some people who get offended, give it a rest, man. This is comedy. We need some lighthearted stuff in the world. Rogan, who has previously made headlines for some of his controversial views, we talked about that he's discussed on his popular podcast, said during the stand-up show that America has become too accepting of trans people. Well, we accept trans people. This is America. You can do whatever you want to do. What we don't accept is you pushing your values on us, you making us accept you in a way that we don't want to accept you. That's it. We don't have to. People get upset all the time when Christians, certain Christians push their values on them. How dare you do that? And these normally are biblical values. And don't get me wrong. I don't always agree with that either. I've been speaking to Christian audiences and churches and ministry, for the last 25 years. And my opening line is this: I'm not here to turn anybody into a Christian, nor am I here to force my Christian values on you. I'm not here to do that. I'm here merely to share what the Lord has done in my life. And as Christians, that's what we are supposed to do. Jesus' last command, Mark 16:15, go out and preach or share the good word, which is the gospel, to all of creation. So we are obligated to share, not to impose our values on you, not to force you to be a Christian. We don't do that. So the same with the transgender community or the gay community. Hey, do what you want to do. You have a free will. It was given to us by God. This is freedom in America. We hope, we're losing our freedoms, but hopefully. So do what you want to do. Just don't push it on us. Don't push it on our children. Don't say that we have to teach your values in our schools, because they're sexual. At the end of the day, it's all about sex. Don't push it on us. And that's what Rogan is saying. We're becoming too accepting of that. I don't know.
Hey everyone, Michael Franzese here. I'm actually speaking to you from my hotel room in Bucharest, Romania. I'm here visiting with a couple of friends, not going to mention their name, but I think some of you can assume who they might be. But I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so I wanted to get this out to you. Recently I did a survey and asked people, what do you want to hear from me? And many came back with, mentorship, and obviously that's something I've been doing now for a while. They asked about my, business advice, which is something I also give. And then they talked to me or asked me about, investment strategy in crypto. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't invest in crypto. I haven't up till this point. It's something I'm not familiar with. I don't really know. I don't understand it, and I don't get involved in things I don't understand. But a few friends of mine have been kind of on me. Come on, Michael, you got to jump into this. And my good friend Peter, who is a partner of mine, he said the same, and he's very knowledgeable about it all. So I thought about it, and then I heard something that really piqued my interest from Donald Trump. And he gave a speech and said that if he becomes president, he's going to make America the crypto capital of the world. Now, that got to me. You know, Trump's a smart guy. I think he does what he says he's going to do. So I said, all right, let me learn about this a little bit. So there's a website. It's called 3syndicate.com. And if you get onto that website, it takes you to another site that tells you everything there is to know about Web3 strategy. And if you go on that, you'll also get a button that brings you to a Telegram group. And in that group is my partner and a lot of very knowledgeable people about crypto. And they just give you a lot of information. It's a free group, by the way. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you want to, learn about this, I think it's something that could be a good resource. I'm in it. I'm learning about it so we can learn together. And by the way, I am going to be doing a phone call. Some of you have asked also about negotiation. We'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks. But I encourage you to get involved in this if you want to learn. You're going to have old people that are very knowledgeable about crypto. We'll kind of dive into it. We'll learn it together. I'll be there with you. And so give it a shot, if it's something that interests you. And I think it's a small group. I don't think there are going to be too many people that they let in. So I would jump on this if it's something that you want to do. Again, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything. And you're going to get all the strategy and advice that you need. And hopefully we both become a little bit knowledgeable. Maybe we dive in, we make some money together. So hopefully I'll see you in the group if you're interested. Just a resource that I wanted to pass on to you. I'll see you. I'll be back home in a couple of weeks and we'll be in this together. Take care.
I just want to be real clear. I believe in trans people, he said, because I think the world is strange and nature is strange. And nature can throw you a curveball and you believe you're in the wrong body. That's what he said. Nature is throwing trans people a curveball. Now remember, this is comedic. It's comedy. Maybe he truly believes that. Who knows? By throwing you a curveball, making you think that you aren't the person that you were born to be, the sex that you were born to be, okay, the gender that you were born to be. And he says, quote, and I fully support your right as an adult to do whatever you want that makes you happy. I believe in freedom and I believe in love, but I also believe in crazy people. Again, comedic, right? Then he goes on to say, I'm open-minded. I just want to know what happened, he continued. It's almost like a pervert wizard waved a magic spell on the whole world. With a wave of his wand, you can walk into the women's locker room with a hard blank, and anybody who complains is either a Nazi, abracadabra, and it just works. Well, let me tell you something. It's funny, but he hit upon something here. All you have to do today is say that you're a man and say that you're a female. You don't have to look like a female. You don't have to have the body parts of a female. I'm a female. And then you can walk into a women's restroom, take your clothes off, gaze at all the women, and that's okay. And God forbid we say something about it. God forbid the women that are uncomfortable or ashamed, God forbid they say something about it. Then they're what are they doing? They're being biased against trans people. But that trans person is allowed to impose himself on that woman, okay? That's okay. You can do that. But if that woman feels uncomfortable seeing a man, a fully unclothed man, in a woman's restroom, or he is gazing at her while she is getting dressed or undressed or whatever, okay, she's not allowed to feel that discomfort. Where are all the women's groups that are not complaining about this? I don't get it. I'm not going to get too deep because this is a comedy show, right? But that's how it is. Abracadabra. I'm a female right now. I may not look like one. I may not act like one. I may not have the body of one, but that's who I am, so I can come into your restroom. Rogan went on to say, and everyone just accepts this new reality, and it's blanking effing weird. I just think we need standards. You can't just put lipstick on, and now you can blank in the women's room. How many people agree with that? Okay, I'm a female, so let me go. I'm a male, but I'm really a female in my mind, or that's what I want you to believe I am, so I can come into your restroom now. And I can act and watch you and do everything, and I can unclothe and make you watch me. It's insanity. This is comedy, but in reality, it's insanity. Why do we accept this? Again, do whatever you want to do, but do it on your own. Transgenders competing in women's sports. Why do we accept this? These are men. You can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You can support this nonsense, whatever you want. But these are men competing against women. And it's a fact, a 1,000% proven fact that men are physically stronger than women in most cases, especially in sports. That's just how it is, period. So why should they be able to compete against women and take all the medals like they're already doing in certain places? You know, I read that 3 transgender men competed with women in a relay, a marathon, and all 3 men came in first, second, and third. Women are not supposed to be offended by that. Transgenders, compete with your own. Let's create a new transgender, population in sports and compete against one another. Wouldn't that be more fair? Rogan thinks so. He's making a joke out of it, but I know what he really thinks. The former Fear Factor host also mocked gay men, saying, I think about gay men the same way I think about mountain lions. I'm happy they're real, but I don't want to be surrounded by them. Okay, now are you homophobic? Really? Just because you prefer things the way they always were in the past, the way we would think, because you like a woman, does that mean you're homophobic? I don't know. There are a bunch of dudes who blank dudes. I don't like my chances, okay? They're not unicorns. They're just men who blank men. That's how he looks at it. And when you really break it down, what is it? Gay men. Do your thing. I have gay men that I consider good people, no question about it. They don't impose their beliefs on me, and I don't impose mine on them. Do what you want, live free, have a blast. In the end, we're all going to have to answer for whatever our actions are, whether they're right, wrong. I'm not the final judge of that. We know who is, God above is. So do your thing. Just don't impose it upon us. Don't make us accept this in a way that you want us to accept it. We're accepting it by letting you do your thing. That's it. Rogan said he's not even remotely homophobic, adding, I'm the opposite. I wish I was gay. That's a joke, for sure. Earlier in the special, Rogan talked about his skepticism of the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, here we go on the vaccine. Quote, before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. I think a lot of us would have thought that way. The vaccines were great. The tested vaccines over a period of time that proved to do some things, even though there's controversy about them now. A lot of people think that some of these vaccines might be the cause of autism in young people. I don't know. I can't comment on it. But that theory or that conclusion is certainly moving around today. People are thinking, I know women that will not vaccinate their kids. Who knows? But I know that when vaccines were created, I think they were created for the right reasons, to prevent, measles and smallpox and certain things. And they were effective. But after COVID-19, you start to wonder and you say, okay, it was rushed out. It was. And I think it was meant to come out, at least initially, with good intent. What happened afterwards? After COVID, this is a quote, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a blank, it's been going around about her, that she was once born a man. I don't know about that. I'm certainly not saying that that's true. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica. So what he's saying now is he used to believe in vaccines, but after that, he doesn't believe in them anymore. And I understand that. I really do. Remember our president? The pandemic is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. That turned out to be a total lie. People that got the vaccine got COVID just as much, maybe more in some cases, than people that were unvaccinated. Remember, you don't get vaccinated, you lose your job. You don't get vaccinated, you can't travel. You don't get vaccinated, you're a unicorn. Your people are upset with you. You go into a market, you don't wear a mask. People are upset, and what proved to be the masks meant nothing. It was delusional. It was garbage put out by, our administration. It was just terrible. But so what he's saying is, after that whole fiasco, he doesn't believe in anything. Now it's a comedy, but in reality, it's true. After the audience laughed, Rogan added, I'm just kidding. I don't think Michelle Obama's really got a blank, but I believe all the other SHIT. In other words, he's saying after that vaccine, man, they pulled such a game on us. I don't believe anything that the government says anymore. Nothing. And you know what? I agree with you, Joe Rogan. I don't believe in them at all. They just lie and gaslight us all the time. This is funny, but it's reality. Rogan confessed that he might have played a part in spreading vaccine misinformation, but he doesn't care. And here's his reason why. Here's my take on that, he says. Sincerely, if you're getting your vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault, he said? That's not my job, kids. I'm a professional blank talker. Some of the things I say make sense, and a lot of them don't. It's up to you to figure out what's what. That's the fun part. So what he's saying is, don't take your advice from me. I'm giving you my opinion, which I'm allowed to do. I'm allowed to give my opinion, but I'm not an expert. It's like, don't take medical advice from me. I can give an opinion on it. I can give an experience on it. I can give you my take on it, but don't take your final advice from me. Now, if you want to talk about other things, maybe you want to talk about lawyers and the legal system, I can give you some advice because I was through it for more than half of my life. I got a lot of experience in that end. So what I may have to offer is a little bit more valuable than people that haven't gone through that experience. So knowledge, experience plays a part in the advice that you give, in the take that you give. But again, Joe says, don't listen to me. I'm a professional talker. I'm not a doctor. Burn the Boats is Rogan's first comedy special in 6 years. It was shot live at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas. So watch it. It's on Netflix. You watch it all the time. His previous Netflix comedy specials are Joe Rogan's Strange Times in 2018 and Joe Rogan Triggered in 2016. So this is what he does. He hasn't done one in a while. In recent years, Rogan's been best known for his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which has drawn criticism and controversy for his COVID-19 misinformation and anti-vaccine statements. Well, was it really misinformation? I don't recall exactly what he said, but if he was against the vaccine, was that misinformation? I don't think so. You know what? I know a lot of people that have taken that vaccine that are suffering as a result of it. I really mean that. I know people that haven't taken the vaccine in my own family. My kids didn't take it. They wouldn't go near it. They wouldn't touch it. They lost their work privileges as a result of that. But they said, hey, I'm adamant. I'm against it. It's not been tested to the fullest. And that's it. They've never gotten COVID, So I don't know. I've never gotten COVID. My wife has never gotten COVID. So who knows? But, it's controversial when you disagree with people that want to put out their information and their agenda. Well, my friends, Michael Franzese here, and I am very excited to introduce to you all our non-alcoholic wine. Really excited and proud about this because I'll tell you why. Our process is a little bit different. This is real wine. It's not grape juice. It goes through the normal process of fermentation and everything else that wine goes through. An amazing process, by the way. I love sitting down and listening to these sommeliers that are really knowledgeable about the process of winemaking. It's amazing. So we get a bottle of wine, and then in the end, we boil the wine and remove the alcohol. So the taste of the wine is still there. Tried it myself many times. We have both a semi-sweet and a dry wine, and it's really terrific. And I think all of those of you that don't want to drink wine but want to hold that glass and enjoy something that tastes just as good, maybe even better to some of you, this is it. Non-alcoholic wine, Franzese brand, one of a kind, first online, and then you'll be able to get it in markets throughout the country. This is really an offer that you shouldn't refuse, and I think this is going to be so appealing to all those of you out there who want the real taste of wine and want the enjoyment of having a glass of wine with your family, but not getting maybe some of the side effects that alcohol will do for you sometimes. So pick it up, non-alcoholic wine, Franzese brand. Again, I always give you an offer that you shouldn't refuse. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all the politics about it. This is Joe Rogan's special. I certainly encourage you to watch it. I'm sure it's good. Joe Rogan is great. He does a great job all the time. He's got, like I said, probably the number 1, 2, 3 podcast in the world. But hope you enjoyed this. It's amazing. And like I said, I love people that just speak their mind. I am going to be with the Tate brothers next week. I'm going back to visit with them. We're going to spend 2 days together. Something will come out of it. I'm sure I'm going there for a specific purpose. But I'm sure something good will come out of it. I got to tell you, I like the boys. And yes, I can call them boys because they're half my age. But I believe that they say what they mean. They mean what they say. I believe a lot of stuff that's been said about them is pure garbage. There's people on the other side that don't like what they said. Hey, God forbid you teach men to be men. God forbid you teach men to stand up for themselves. God forbid you tell men, that they shouldn't put lipstick on, wear a dress, or let women defend them. And they should be defending the women. God forbid you say they should be the breadwinners in the family. God forbid all of this. Well, that's what they stand for. And all the rest of the stuff, it's all nonsense. Nothing has been proven. All of these allegations, it's all nonsense. And until I see anything that's proof or real hard factual evidence, innocent until proven guilty, And I stand by them. Sorry, that's my position. And again, I don't agree with everything that they say, and they don't agree with everything I say. That's just the way life is. Okay, I'm not saying that, but hey, you know, the bottom line is I believe that they're well intended and they mean to do the right thing, and they have done the right thing. And look at them now. They're marching up and down, you know, about this debacle, this horrible stuff that was put on by the Olympics, you know, mocking Jesus Christ in the Last Supper. And it was a mockery of Jesus Christ in the Last Supper. They tried to clean it up afterwards. They said it was, you know, a replay of some Greek thing. No, it wasn't. Took them over a day to figure out something because they never expected the backlash that they were getting. So I respect the Tate brothers every day. Okay, they're protesting that peacefully and telling people we shouldn't stand for that. And you know what? Christians, we shouldn't stand for that. We should make our voice known. I've said this a million times. The sin of omission is just as serious as the sin of commission. And in some instances, it's even more serious. Because if you have a platform, if people listen to you, if they respect you, and you see something going wrong that's going to affect people in a negative way, and you don't speak up, well, shame on you. Shame on you. That's it for today, my friends. How do I always leave you? Same way. Never going to change. Be safe. Please be safe. So much chaos going on in the world, man. You know what? It's scary. And I'm not a guy that scares easy, but it's scary. I'm afraid for the women in my life, my wife, my daughters, my grandchildren. You know, it's scary. So please be safe out there. Be healthy. Do the best you can. One life to live. You may as well do it the right way. Watch what you eat, do some exercise, take care of yourself, and get to these checkups, especially when you get older, man. You know what? Go get your annuals. I do it. My wife pushes me, but now I do it on my own. It's important, okay? You got to keep your health. Be safe, be healthy. Yes, I mean this. God bless each and every one of you and your families and your loved ones and your cities and your towns. God bless America. Yes, I'll see you next time. Take care.